Are you thinking about starting your own business? Great! But before you jump in, there are a few things you should know to avoid the mistakes many make on their first try. Starting a business is exciting, but it can also be overwhelming if you're not prepared. Did you know that most businesses fail within the first 5 years? We don't want that to be the case for you. In this video, we're going to reveal 10 key things you need to consider before you get started. It's not just about having a good idea. You need a solid strategy and the right approach. Would you like to have a clear roadmap before starting your entrepreneurial adventure? If so, you're in the right place. If you want to avoid the most common mistakes and start off on the right foot, stay with us and find out what you need to know before taking that big step. Let's take a look. 1. Know your market in depth. Before you start any business, the first thing you need to do is know who you're going to sell to. Having a good idea isn't enough. You need to know if there are people interested in what you're offering and, above all, if they're willing to pay for it. This is called market research, and it's something that many people overlook. Entrepreneurs who don't do proper market research can end up with an amazing product, but no one who wants to buy it. To avoid this, ask yourself key questions like, who is your ideal customer? What makes your product different from the rest? These questions will help you better understand your audience and, therefore, adjust your strategy. It's not just about launching something on the market and hoping it works, but about making sure you're offering exactly what your audience needs. Researching what your competition is doing is also key. Analyze what works for them and what doesn't, and then think about how you can offer something better. When you truly understand your market, you have a better chance of success, as you will be more aligned with what your customer is looking for. A good example of this is Airbnb. They began to identify that there were people who didn't want to spend so much on hotels, but they also didn't want to stay in uncomfortable accommodations. They saw an opportunity and launched a platform that connected these people with local owners, and thus created a new form of accommodation that is now world famous. 2. Develop a solid business plan. Another key thing is to have a well-made business plan. And yes, it may sound boring, or you may be so excited about your idea that you want to skip this step, but trust me, without a clear plan, you will get lost along the way. A business plan is like your map. It helps you make decisions, avoid mistakes that can cost you, and above all, it helps you stay focused on what really matters, making your business work. What should a good business plan include? A key one is the marketing strategy, i.e. how you're going to reach your customers and convince them to choose you. It is also important to be clear about how you are going to finance your business. Will you need investors, a loan, or will you use your own savings? In addition, you should do a cost analysis. How much it will cost you to keep the business running, and, most importantly, how you plan to make money and make it sustainable in the long term. Many entrepreneurs jump into the business without a plan, believing that everything will work out as they go along. But planning allows you to anticipate obstacles and be better prepared to deal with them. Having all of this figured out from the start will give you an advantage over those who wing it and help you make smarter decisions as your business grows. So before you take the leap, sit down, take the time, and write out your plan. 3. Define your value proposition. Your value proposition is basically what makes you special. It's the reason why your customers will choose your product or service over your competitors. And believe me, if you don't have this clear from the beginning, it's going to be very difficult to stand out in a market full of options. So, ask yourself, why should they choose me? This concept is the pillar on which you will build your entire business, from your brand to your marketing strategy. Think of companies like Apple or Tesla. Apple doesn't just sell phones, it sells innovation, style, and ease of use. Tesla is not just a car, it is technology of the future and a commitment to environmental sustainability. They're clear about what makes them different, and they communicate this in everything they do, from advertising to the design of their products. So, what makes your business unique? It could be quality, price, customer service, or even the impact it has on the environment. The important thing is that you define that differentiating factor and exploit it to the fullest. Once you have your value proposition clear, you need to make sure it permeates every aspect of your business. From the way you design your website, to how you talk to your customers, to how you promote your product. The clearer and more powerful your value proposition is, the easier it will be to attract the right people, the ones who truly value what you offer. For Do not underestimate initial costs. One of the most common mistakes when starting a business is underestimating costs. When you imagine your company up and running, it's easy to get excited and forget about all the expenses that come with getting it up and running. It's not just renting the space or buying inventory. There's also salaries, marketing, software, utilities, and what's almost always overlooked: the unexpected. If you don't make a realistic estimate of everything you need to spend, you may end up with an unpleasant surprise. That's why it's essential to take into account all the details and, in addition, have a financial cushion or emergency fund. This will give you room to deal with unexpected expenses, which always arise, especially in the first months of operation. Many experts recommend having enough savings to cover at least the first 6 months or a year of expenses. If the numbers don't add up, it's better to adjust your expectations from the start than to find yourself in a financial crisis when the business is already up and running. A good example is Amazon. In its early years, Jeff Bezos knew that they were going to need a large initial investment. The costs were high, but with a well-thought-out strategy and a solid financial plan, they were able to hold out until the company started to take off. So don't underestimate the costs. Calculate everything and make sure you're prepared for whatever comes next. And if you find today's content interesting, don't forget to leave your like and subscribe so you don't miss the next video. Let's continue. 5. Be perseverant and have patience. It's common to have high expectations when starting a business, but you have to be realistic. Results don't come immediately. Patience is key for any entrepreneur. Great businesses aren't built overnight, and the first few months and even years can be tough. You might not see much profit at the start, or you might face obstacles that make you doubt everything. This is when perseverance becomes your best friend. You have to stay focused on your long-term goals and not give up when problems arise. Even the most successful entrepreneurs went through moments of doubt, failures, and many setbacks before achieving the success we know today. The most important thing is that you continue to learn from your mistakes, adjust, and keep improving. A prime example is Howard Schultz, the man behind Starbucks. He was initially rejected by over 200 investors before he managed to secure the funding needed to expand the brand. If he had given up after the first few no's, Starbucks probably wouldn't exist today as we know it. So, if he could stick to his vision, so can you. Patience and perseverance will help you get through those moments when you feel like nothing is moving forward. 6. Surround yourself with mentors and learn all the time. The path of entrepreneurship is a constant learning curve. No matter how much experience you have or how many degrees you have accumulated, there is always something new to learn. And here a key factor comes into play. Surround yourself with mentors and people who have already gone through the process. These people can offer you advice that really makes a difference, help you avoid mistakes that cost you time and money, and give you a much clearer perspective on the challenges ahead. Having a support network of people who know the business or industry you're in is super valuable. They can offer you solutions to problems you may not have considered or help you see opportunities that were right in front of you, but you hadn't detected. Attending conferences, taking courses, reading books, or even listening to podcasts from experts are excellent ways to keep improving and stay one step ahead. Entrepreneurship is not about knowing everything from the beginning, but about learning along the way and taking advantage of every opportunity to improve your skills. If you keep constantly learning, your chances of success grow exponentially. 7. Be flexible and adapt your business model. While it's key to have a clear plan from the start, you also have to be ready to adapt to changing trends. The market is a constantly changing place, and what worked a year ago may not be relevant today. That's why it's essential to keep an open mind and be willing to adjust your business model when necessary. A good example of this is Slack. It originally started out as a platform for video games. However, the creators realized that their internal communication tool was much more useful than the game itself. So they decided to pivot and focus on that, transforming into the powerful business communication tool we know today. This shows that being willing to change course is not a sign of failure. On the contrary, it is an act of intelligence and adaptability. Keep an eye on market signals and listen to your customers. If you notice something isn't working or there's a new trend that could benefit you, don't hesitate to make changes. Always keep your eyes open for opportunities and don't be afraid to modify your approach. Flexibility will allow you to not only survive, but also thrive in a competitive environment. In the end, businesses that manage to adapt and evolve are the ones that endure and find success. The important thing here is not to get too attached to one path and to keep an open mind to new possibilities. 8. Learn to delegate to your team. One of the most common mistakes new entrepreneurs make is trying to do everything on their own. In the beginning, it's natural to want to be in control of every detail of your business. But if you don't learn to delegate, you'll burn out very quickly and you could lose sight of what really matters. Delegating doesn't mean you're leaving everything in the hands of others, but rather you're allowing your team to support you so you can focus on the key tasks that drive the growth of your business. So, hire people who complement your skills and trust them to do their job. A good team is critical to success, and surrounding yourself with people you can trust is key to taking your business to the next level. Take Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak, for example. While Jobs had the vision and focus on design, Wozniak was the brilliant engineer behind Apple's early products. Together, they formed an unstoppable team because they knew how to recognize their strengths and weaknesses and delegated accordingly. Jobs focused on marketing and strategy, while Wozniak focused on the technical side. That's how great things get done. Don't be afraid to trust others and let everyone shine in their role. Remember, an effective leader knows that he doesn't have to do everything alone. Delegate, trust, and above all, allow your team to do their magic. This will allow you to grow and advance on your path as an entrepreneur. 9. Set clear and measurable goals. Setting clear goals for your business is essential if you want everything to run smoothly. When you have a defined goal, it's like having a final direction of where you want to go. It's also important that your goals are measurable, so you can review them at any point along the way. If, for example, you set out to increase your sales by 20% in 6 months, you can track your numbers and see if you're on track. If you're not, don't worry. This gives you the opportunity to adjust your strategy and look for new ways to improve. Don't limit yourself to just financial goals. You can also set goals for growing your team, such as training your employees or expanding your staff. And don't forget to celebrate those small achievements. Every step you take towards your goals is a reason to be happy and keep your motivation high. 10. Believe in your idea and enjoy the process. Finally, and perhaps most importantly, believe in your idea. If you don't believe in what you're doing, it's going to be hard for others to believe in it. Remember that the first few months can be tough. There will be times when things don't go the way you expected. But if you're truly passionate about your project and enjoy the process, it'll be much easier to overcome those obstacles. Confidence in your idea will not only motivate you to keep going, but it will also inspire those around you to support you and join your cause. So keep that faith in what you're doing, and you'll see how things start to flow. Entrepreneurship is an adventure full of challenges and opportunities. And if you keep these 10 points in mind, you will be much better prepared to face them and build a successful business. Which ones do you consider most important for an entrepreneur? Do you know of any others that we should add to our list? Leave us your answer in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on new content.